This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, good morning, everyone. How are you?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Good
बच्चे.
morning, sir.
Enjoying like lockdown, everyone. Hello, बेटे. सब कोई लॉकडाउन एंजॉय कर रहे हो, है ना?
हाँ जी सर।
बढ़िया वाला. चलो. So today agenda is discovery of new particles, and I assure you the lecture will be very interesting. साइंस होती वो है जो आपको आसपास से जोड़े. Right, and we are formally starting with the first chapter. इससे पहले जो किया that was basic बेटे. हो सकता है आपने 11th physics में भी करेंगे, आप 9th and 10th में भी करेंगे, but I will do it once again when I'm going to hit the chemical arithmetic basic concepts, but that will be coming after little bit of time. So now the agenda is going to be 3 chapters: atomic structure, periodic properties, and chemical bonding. These are going to be basic. These are not only related with chemistry, but ये आपकी ना दिनचर्या के साथ साथ आसपास होगा. You will be able to understand what is happening around you. For example, watch today's session, right? The person in front of you is Michael Faraday. He was one of the greatest scientists you can dream of, and he was a poor chap. At around 13 years old or 14 years old, he had to stop his studies in between, और इन्होंने एक बुक बाइंडर के पास ज्वाइन किया, एक बुक बाइंडर के पास, because he had no money. And एक साइंटिस्ट थे हम्फ्री डेवी, that was very एक renowned साइंटिस्ट थे. होता क्या है कि this person, the Michael Faraday, इनके पास जो भी किताबें बुक बाइंड होने के लिए आती थी ना, तो he used to study them. बस उनको शौकिया तौर के पढ़ते रहते थे, जैसे हम आपको बोलते हैं ना, just keep on reading. And once upon a time, that Humphrey Davy, he was a great scientist of that time. So what happened, उनका जो असिस्टेंट था ना, वो बीमार पड़ जाते हम्फ्री डेवी के, and Humphrey Davy needed some assistant. तो हम्फ्री डेवी एक एडवर्टाइज करते हैं, and he is asking for some assistant. Many applications came. उनमें से एक ये 14 साल के बच्चे माइकल फैराडे का एप्लीकेशन आता है. तो everybody was bit surprised, but Davy was scientist. Scientist का तो व्यू ही एक अलग होता है. तो he called him and interview लिया गया. This Michael Faraday at such a young age was found to be so much competent कि इनको 1 महीने के लिए उन्होंने अपना असिस्टेंट हायर किया, जब तक उनका असिस्टेंट छुट्टी पे था. Now that 1 month, the humanity discovered one of the greatest scientists, Michael Faraday. He is the person जिसकी वजह से आपके सेल फोन के अंदर जो बैटरीज हैं, है ना, आपके रिमोट्स के अंदर, आपके इन सब के अंदर आपकी जो बैटरीज हैं कार के अंदर, he was basically the discoverer of that. He told us कि एटॉमिक लेवल पे समथिंग पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव होगा. एंड सी, मतलब कितने बड़े दिमाग के ये बंदे होंगे. स्टोरी आई एम टेलिंग यू इज अराउंड 1830 1820s के आसपास होगा. He died, I think, around 1857 or 70 के आसपास he died. That time he did so much regarding electricity, और उस समय तो बेटा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का कोई सोर्स भी नहीं था स्टेबल. आज के दिन में तो हमारे पास स्टेबल सोर्स आ रहा है, आपकी ये लाइट फ्लक्चुएट नहीं कर रही है, तो उन दिनों में तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बिल्कुल शुरुआत हुई थी. So salute to this Michael Faraday, and because of him we could start with atomic structure. So just an idea, आपका जो भी एटम के बारे में व्यू होगा, that is going to be radically change. आप लोग जब एटम को देखते हैं, you see something like this. मान लीजिए सेंटर में न्यूक्लियस है, मान लीजिए सेंटर में स्टार है, एंड जैसे प्लैनेट्स घूम रहे हैं, वैसे इलेक्ट्रॉन्स आर रिवॉल्विंग अराउंड इट. Within around 20 days, yes, it's a big topic, around 20 days, I'm going to change the whole concept around atomic structure. An atom will be, imagination में जाओ, एक बादल को देखो, atom is like that, एक बादल है with no clear cut boundary, and in between that big cloud that be running into maybe thousands of kilometer, 100 of kilometer, उसके बीच में एक छोटा सा dot होगा, that will be known as nucleus. The idea is, don't memorize anything, let it pass through like a story. So our agenda is, we are starting with structure of an atom. So abhi tak this is going to be protons. You have a little bit idea that protons are positively charged, and electrons are negatively charged particles, and neutrons have no charge, zero charge, and that is going to be the structure of atom. You have a little bit idea कि न्यूक्लियस के अंदर प्रोटॉन एंड न्यूट्रॉन होते हैं. That is, in totality, the nucleus is positively charged, and negatively charged electrons, these blue colored electrons, are revolving around it. Certain elliptical paths like planets are going to revolve around the sun. So the atom is the smallest possible species in nature which have independent nature. हमारे पास एटम से छोटी भी बहुत चीजें हैं, बट उनका इंडिपेंडेंट नेचर नहीं है. A hydrogen atom, the nitrogen atom, the oxygen atom can exist independently. So that is going to be सबसे छोटा एटम. हमारे हिंदुस्तान में भी बहुत कुछ हुआ था, तो वहां पे इसको पहले परमाणु बोला गया था, but that science was lost. We do not know what happened. We do not know. So don't crib it. Let's move. Michael Faraday. That was the reason I started with this scientist, Michael Faraday. He gave first time the idea that there must be something positive and negative charged at atomic level. उससे पहले किसी को नहीं पता था. They were thinking atom कुछ है, जैसे क्रिकेट की बॉल है, जैसे एक सेब है, एक संतरा है. But he said no, इसके अंदर कुछ ना कुछ तो है that is going to have positive and negative charge. So first time the humanity learned that something is going to be happening at atomic level which is going to be positive and negative. So story start, we are going to discover, we are going to study the history of how these charged particles are going to be discovered. So जब हम आपको हिस्ट्री पढ़ाते हैं तो आपको कभी बोर करने का हमारा मतलब बिल्कुल नहीं है. आपको हम हिस्ट्री में से लेके जाएंगे. See, this has already happened. How this happened, how they did it, and then after that हम उसकी एक applications पे ले आएंगे. Your duty as a scientist is आप हमारे आइडिया को, हमारे मतलब ह्यूमैनिटी के आइडिया को और बढ़ाओ, and don't do the things which have already been done. You understand? जो गलतियां, जो चीजें हम आपको सिखा रहे हैं, आप उनसे आगे बढ़िए. You should not repeat whatever is happening, whatever has happened earlier. So someday you are coming running and say, Eureka, मैंने इलेक्ट्रॉन ढूंढ लिया. तो मैं क्या कहूंगा, बेटा बैठ जा, इलेक्ट्रॉन तो बहुत पहले स्टोनी नाम के साइंटिस्ट ने ढूंढ लिया था. So that is going to be the idea. Just enjoy it. So what happened? Michael Faraday, he, along with many other innovative minds, scientists, started working on idea that how can we discover more about the positively charged and negatively charged species at the atomic level. This led to the great innovation called discharge tube experiment. During this discussion, I'm going to abbreviate is either as DT, discharge tube, or discharge tube experiment. And do you know, आपके जो पुराने वाले टीवी थे, LED को छोड़ दो, that is nothing but a discharge tube experiment. You will learn during the course of study. So we move, don't copy, simply enjoy karo. This is the sketch of a discharge tube. See, this is a glass tube. I have written everything. You just see to that. So this is a glass tube. In this, we have two pieces of metal, cathode and anode. And we will be passing very high voltage current of the order of 10,000, 20,000. What is current? Flow of electron. So electrons will be going from this side to this side. They will be traveling. And they did certain experiment on this, which was called as cathode rays, and something was discovered. The air at very low pressure was kept here. You can keep air, you can keep nitrogen, you can keep oxygen. And on this end, अगर हम यहाँ पे कोई जिंक सल्फाइड या कोई और चीज लगाते थे, तो ये वाला एंड ग्लो करना शुरू हो जाता था, right? And that was the idea कि लास्ट क्लास में हमने आपको प्रेशर के बारे में बताया था. जिस दुनिया में आप और मैं बैठे हैं, उसका प्रेशर कितना है? 1 atmosphere. But in this tube, the pressure was very, very low, and that can be done with the help of vacuum pump. Vacuum क्या करता है? हवा को खींच लेता है. Can you imagine the room where you are sitting? I put an electrode here, and I put an electrode in the wall in front of you, एक आपके पीछे वाली और एक आगे वाली, अगर मैं इसमें से हाई वोल्टेज करंट पास करूं, can you ever dream of the current will pass through the room? No, air is a poor conductor. So हमें इसके बारे में सीखना होगा, what is going to happen. Before we start, right, you understand electric current. What is electric current? Flow of electrons. And बेटे इलेक्ट्रॉन का सिंबल E के ऊपर नेगेटिव होता है, is a flow of electron. I'm in habit of giving notes, और साइंस स्टूडेंट छोटे छोटे पॉइंट्स में नोट्स बनाता है. We never ever write a big paragraph. So whenever dot come, wherever star come, that means it is continuity में है, and you should be noting down also after the class in the form of points, right? No lambe paragraph are to be written. For passage of current through different substances like solution, air, we need a substance, we need a thing known as electrons. शायद आपने सुना होगा, नहीं सुना होगा तो मैं सिखा दूंगा. Electrodes are of two types, the cathode and anode. That's the name. What is electrode? It is a metal surface from which the current can move. Otherwise metal के बगैर इलेक्ट्रॉन को आप कैसे ट्रेवल करवा सकते हो, right? You people have done little bit in your class 11th. Anuvansh, you can unmute and you can answer bete, what is going to be the charge on the cathode beta? Yes, Anuvansh, try it.
Negative.
Negative. Good. अग्रिम म्यूट करके बताओ कैथोड के ऊपर क्या चार्ज हो सकता है. Don't worry about the mistake. I will correct it. You just try. That is what I want.
Negative.
Negative. देवांशी, गुड़िया बोलो.
Negative.
Negative. And Gayaki, will you try?
Negative, sir. But when it is in, like, if we put it in, जब हम उसको generator के साथ, maybe when we connect, but when we flow a current, then it becomes positive.
Okay, that's a good answer. अभी देखते हैं. Utkarsh, is it going to be positive or negative? Unmute. Is it going to be positive or negative? The charge. इस question का answer
Negative,
क्या?
sir.
Negative.
Negative.
Right.
Negative.
हम आपका अभी view change कर. Right, बेटे. So the answer can be both positive or negative. I'm changing the concept. See, I give you your answer. Just wait for a few seconds. There are two types of cells. Energy will be written as En throughout your syllabus. It is energy producer and this is going to be energy consumer. Producer कौन से होते हैं? Like आपका सेल फोन इस वक्त चार्जिंग मोड पे नहीं है, तो उसके अंदर जो बैटरी है that is producing current, right? Energy consumer. What is energy consumer cell? Like your cell phone battery which is on the charge mode. अब वो क्या कर रहा है? बाहर से एनर्जी ले रहा है. तो cells, what are cell? एनर्जी प्रोड्यूसर और एनर्जी कंज्यूमर, जहां पे हम केमिकल रिएक्शंस की वजह से एनर्जी पैदा करते हैं, will be of two types, energy producer or energy consumer. Now, depending upon the cell is energy producer or consumer, cathode can be positive or negative. Energy producer cell में cathode is positive, right? And energy producer में the anode is negative, and vice versa for the cathode in energy consumer cell. It is negative and this is going to be positive. The first thing which is adding in your dictionary. See, bete, repetition is a key to success. How will you keep it in mind? This topic will be used everywhere you go. Cathode and anode. GM का मतलब होता है याद करने का तरीका, गुरु मंत्र, right? GM, गुरु मंत्र. This is between you and me. Just एक याद करने का तरीका. शायद आप लोगों ने चार्टेड अकाउंटेंट सुना हो. C for cathode, A for anode. You are going to write cathode and you are going to write anode. And see, you are going to learn, you have learned already, the cell are going to be of two types. First, I keep energy producer and then I keep energy consumer cell. याद करने के लिए, first you are going to produce something, only then you are going to consume. And if I ask you people to write plus and minus sign, आदतन हम पहला sign मधु, which is going to be, we will be writing plus beta. So we will write plus here. If you write plus here, you will write minus here beta. If you write plus here, that is going to be minus and plus here. This should be kept in mind, not by memorizing, by repetition. Is the first point clear? Now,
So
do you understand?
please can you explain it again?
हाँ, कौन बोल रहा है?
Gaiki.
What is a charge on cathode? So your answer can be, it can be both positive or negative, depending upon whether it is energy producer cell or it is energy consumer cell. जहां पे भी आप बाहर से बैटरी लगाते हो, बाहर से आप एनर्जी देते हो, that is going to be the energy consumer cell. फॉर एग्जाम्पल क्लास 10th में शायद आपने इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस के बारे में कुछ पढ़ा हो. इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस में व्हाट डू यू डू? You pass electricity from outside. So that is going to be the energy consumer cell, that is negative. And energy producer mein, it is going to be positive. So Gaiki, it depends upon whether it is energy producer or consumer, the cathode may be positive or negative. This will go as a fact. You understand what are fact? Which are information. What is the area of India? What is the shape of the India country? What is the shape of the earth? What is the shape of that? Is it clear, son? Shall I move ahead?
Yes.
Cathode, anode. The first thing you have learned.
So
Now,
electrolysis
बोलो,
में
बोलो बेटा.
इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस में तो जो कंज्यूमर सेल्स कैसे होते हैं?
कंज्यूमर होते हैं. लीजिए अभी बताते हैं बेटे. कौन बोल रहा है? पहले तो मुझे बताओ.
सर अनुवंश.
अनुवंश. ऐसे ही एक रफ सा स्केच बनाते हैं बेटा. ठीक, एक बर्तन रखते हैं, उसके अंदर 2 इलेक्ट्रोड्स लगाते हैं. ठीक, और हम इसके अंदर NaCl let it be aqueous. ये भी एक्सपेरिमेंट माइकल फैराडे ने किया था. ठीक, माइकल फैराडे. अब हम इसके अंदर करंट पास करते हैं. This is going to be, let it be positive electrode. This is going to be the negative electrode. जब आप आयनिक कंपाउंड्स को वाटर में डालते हैं, so it dissociate into chloride ion इस वक्त और negative and sodium ion this. This chloride ion goes on the positive electrode. Right now हम इसको बाहर से एनर्जी सप्लाई कर रहे हैं ना अनुज. आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं क्या कि मैं इस पानी के गिलास में NaCl डालूं और 2 कील लगा दूं, 2 नेल्स लगा दूं, क्या इसमें सोडियम और क्लोरीन पैदा होगा अनुज? No.
Yes.
You have to supply energy from the external source, right? So that is going to be energy consumer. आपने शायद 10th में काफी फिजिक्स के ऑपरेटर्स या डायग्राम्स बनाए होंगे जहां पे आपने बैटरी लगाई थी. डू यू रिमेम्बर? थोड़े बहुत कुछ दिमाग में है? तो जहां पे भी आपने बैटरी लगाई थी बेटे, वहां पे एनर्जी इट इज गोइंग टू बी सप्लाई बाहर से हो रही है, एंड देयरफॉर दिस इज गोइंग टू बी, कौन सा सेल बनेगा? एनर्जी कंज्यूम. अब आपने पूछा तो थोड़ा सा आगे कर लेते हैं. नेगेटिव क्लोराइड विल गो टू पॉजिटिव, राइट? एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू लूज इलेक्ट्रॉन टू फॉर्म क्लोरीन गैस, राइट? बेटे याद मत करना, जब समय आएगा तो मैं आपको डिटेल में कराऊंगा. This is known as oxidation, and the sodium ion will go on negatively charged electrode, which is going to be called as what? The cathode. Right here, cathode is the negative electrode. Here, the anode is what? The positive electrode. यही तो आपने कहा था ना अभी थोड़े समय पहले. एनर्जी कंज्यूमर में एनोड के ऊपर क्या साइन होता है? The positive. और कैथोड के ऊपर क्या होता है? Negative. That is what I am doing, son. The cation goes towards cathode and sodium ion will gain electron, but you have given to form what? Sodium. So basically you have broken down, yes Anuvansh, sodium and chlorine into the process known as electrolysis. What is electricity? What is lysis? Breakdown. Do you understand better now? Shall I move ahead? Clear? So what you have learned is, this is the most important thing. Cathode is a positive electrode in producer and cathode is a negative electrode in energy consumer. Why I'm doing it? because we are going to study the discharge tube experiment. In this Gayaki, you have to supply energy. Supply energy in the form of what? High voltage current. High voltage current कितना होगा? तकरीबन 10,000 से लेके 20,000 volt का. We have to supply energy. So the cathode is going to be which electrode? Negative. You have to supply energy. So this is going to be the energy consumer cell. And the anode is going to be which electrode? The positive cell. That is why I stressed upon this fundamental. Any question बच्चे? Shall we move ahead? तुली कुछ पूछना चाहता है? आगे बढ़े बेटिया? Yes, कदम. Clear? Cathode and anode. That is the only thing I have taught you right now. कदम, अगर माइक काम करता है तो अनम्यूट कर और मुझे जवाब दे. कदम, cathode is going to be, I think कदम का माइक नहीं चल रहा, तो अमोदनी you can answer. Cathode energy producer में कौन सा चार्ज है? Positive. और एनोड एनर्जी कंज्यूमर में कौन सा चार्ज है? मैंने गलत बोला है? कैथोड इज नेगेटिव इन एनर्जी,
नेगेटिव,
एनोड इज गुड़िया पढ़ के बता,
पॉजिटिव
इन एनर्जी कंज्यूमर से.
कंज्यूमर्स,
हमारा फोकस कहाँ पे होगा बेटे? एनर्जी कंज्यूमर, क्योंकि अभी हम एनर्जी कंज्यूमर में जा रहे हैं. प्रोड्यूसर तो हम आपको बहुत समय के बाद पढ़ाएंगे जब हम आपको वोल्टेक और गैल्वेनिक सेल कराएंगे. इज इट क्लियर सन? So this is the sketch. We will do again many number of times. The DT, the discharge tube, is going to be made up of a glass electrode. Is made up of a glass electrode. Glass having two electrodes sealed into that. No need of drawing the beautiful diagrams. A rough sketch will do. This is a glass tube having two metal pieces known as the electrode. A very high electric current of the order of 20,000 volt is passed through it. When the discharge tube is filled with air at 1 atmosphere, air की जगह पे you can put any gas you can dream of, but remember one at a time. No discharge current passes through the tube. That is, when we are going to fill it with air at normal condition, no current passed from cathode to anode. So you understand that electron should go toward the positive. Have a picture in your mind. Cathode to anode, the current is flowing. The electric discharge, you can say discharge, you can say current, is observed at very low pressures of gases under the discharge tube maintained with the help of vacuum pump. What we do is, with the help of vacuum, we just push out the gases. We suck out the gases, and at very low pressure, that is around 10 to the power minus 2 atmosphere. What is that? 1 by 100 of atmosphere. We see that a discharge is going to flow from the negative electrode to the positive electrode. You will not be able to see it, but I will tell you that how we can observe that it has started flowing. First thing you are clear is when very high voltage is applied, under very low pressure, the current starts flowing from cathode to the positive, that is anode electrode. Now, first thing, how will you know that it is flowing from left to right or right to left? Right? That is a question. How will we know? Because we are not able to see it. Then how do we know that? I'm telling you it is flowing from cathode to anode. How do we know that? See, what happened is, imagine कीजिए बेटे, हमारे पास यहाँ पे sun है, right? Imagine please, this is the sun. We are standing here, please, a rough sketch. Then your shadow will be obtained on opposite side. Na? It will be obtained the opposite side. If the source of light is there, then shadow will be projected on the next side. I hope you understand. So what they did several experiments on this discharge, and summarized the result as below. The first, which we just discussed, the cathode ray start from cathode and move towards anode. इनका जो नाम रखा गया, origin from cathode की तरफ पाया गया. How do we know that कि this is going to be the origin? ऐसा ही हुआ होगा, हमें कैसे पता लगा? हमने क्या किया, एक opaque object between cathode and anode was placed. This is an opaque object. So its shadow was obtained at the anode end. So that proved that the origin is from cathode and it is going towards anode. Do you understand? How do we know that it is traveling from cathode to anode? Any question, Bide? Please ask. Feel free. Karamjot, do you understand? Sakshi, Siddharth, is it clear? We came to know that it is going from cathode to anode by placing an opaque object in its path. Right here? So that was the reason कि इनका जो नाम रखा गया, क्या रखा गया? The cathode rays. Why? They originate from the cathode side. So this is going to be the first point we are going to learn. See, second point, these rays themselves are not visible, but their behavior can be observed with the help of certain kind of materials known as fluorescent or phosphorescent, which glow when hit by them. We will come back here. Just see what I want to tell you. See, I have a screen here. Let it be made up of some metal, let it be made up of some glass, I don't mind. You coat it with certain material like zinc sulfide. You know what happens when certain charged particle falls on zinc sulfide? They produced glow. They produce localized glow. And localized glow in English language is also known as scintillation. scintillation. Supposedly, there is some particle. We do not know what is that. And that is traveling from this side to this side. And if it produces a glow here, that means it is present. And if no glow is produced, what does that mean? There is nothing. It is a very interesting chapter, the atomic structure. Imagine what I want to tell you. Supposedly, God forbid it happens, that you heard that some of your relatives, उनके घर में चोरी हो गई, वो कहीं बाहर गए थे, उनके घर में चोरी हुई है. When they came back, they are able to see उनका सामान बिखरा हुआ है, right? उनके घर में ताले टूटे हुए हैं. So there is a proof कि चोर तो आया था, but nobody knows who is the thief, who did all this nonsense. So similarly, atom is around us, we know, but till now, mind my words, हमारे पास जो सबसे बड़ा माइक्रोस्कोप है, उसने सबसे बड़े एटम को अभी तक नहीं देखा है. Do you understand? मैं तुम्हें किस दुनिया में लेके जा रहा हूँ? हम जिस दुनिया में जा रहे हैं, उसमें से सबसे बड़ा एटम अभी तक हमने देखा नहीं है, but उसकी existence we can prove by various methods. Like you are sitting, maybe fan आपके कमरे में चल रहा है, you are observing that something is hitting your body, but you are not able to see that. मैं एक collective pen को उठा पा रहा हूँ, this is made up of large atom, but I cannot see इसका smallest constituent atom को मैं अभी तक नहीं देख पाता हूँ. तो हमें एटम को देखने के लिए टेढ़े रास्ते लेने पड़ते हैं. We can't see it with the eye. So we are going to coat certain substance with zinc sulfide like material. When a particle like atom, electron, neutron, alpha particle is going to strike the zinc sulfide like screen, it is going to glow, and that is going to be known as scintillation. That is a proof that some particle exists, something exists, right, sir? And if it is a light, there are two different things. We have waves, we have particles. Me, you, cricket ball, satellite, sun, earth, proton, neutron. अब सब में कॉमन चीज देखो, सब में क्या चीज है? मास है. तो हम इनको मैकेनिकल इन नेचर कहते हैं। द लाइट इन विच यू आर सिटिंग, आपके माइक्रोवेव में जो काम हो रहा है, राइट, द इंफ्रारेड, द विजिबल, द वॉयलेट, द ग्रीन, द रेडियो वेव्स, हम जिससे बात कर रहे हैं, वी आर टॉकिंग विद द हेल्प ऑफ रेडियो वेव्स, राइट, सो दैट कैन नॉट बी सीन, दे डू नॉट हैव अ मास, सो दे आर नॉन मैकेनिकल इन नेचर। डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? अनुवंश, एक मिनट अनम्यूट करो। मैं दुनिया की चीजों को दो हिस्सों में बांट रहा हूं। एक बेटे जिसका मास होगा, क्या बोलेगा? मैकेनिकल इन नेचर। क्या एग्जांपल होंगे? इलेक्ट्रॉन, प्रोटॉन, न्यूट्रॉन। एक जिनका मास नहीं होगा, उनको मैं बांटूंगा वेव्स के अंदर। वेव्स का मास नहीं होता है। डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? सो दिस इज वी वांट टू टेल यू बेटा कि द रेस, अभी थोड़े समय में ना ये जो कैथोड रेज है, हम इनको इलेक्ट्रॉन प्रूफ कर देंगे। These are themselves not visible. Visible मतलब हमारी आंखों को नहीं दिखती है, but their behavior can be observed with certain kind of material known as fluorescent or phosphorant, which glow when hit by them. The television picture tubes are cathode ray tubes, and television pictures result due to chamak on the television screen coated with certain fluorescent or phosphorant material. Let me give time. Right, give me time. So I'm going to prove it कि जो पुराना टीवी जो हमारे घरों में होता था, ये एलईडी वाला नहीं, अब तो टेक्नोलॉजी नई आती चली आ रही है, उनमें एक आगे स्क्रीन होती है, दैट इज द एनोड। उसके ऊपर ना हम कुछ सब्सटेंस कोट कर देते हैं, तो पीछे से एक कैथोड रे गन होती है which produces electron. When it strike the screen of the TV or your computers, that is going to produce a glow which we are going to observe it. Is the second point clear? What is the first point? These travel in straight line from cathode to anode, and they cannot be observed directly. We just coat something here and we are going to observe कि हाँ भाई यहाँ पे कुछ हुआ था. Third point, in the absence of electric or magnetic field, these travels in straight line. So this is going to be the cathode and this is going to be the anode. These are traveling in straight line. How do you know straight line? Because they cast shadows. They cast shadow, and then we know that this is going to be traveling in the straight line. This is going to be the cathode. In the presence of electrical or magnetic field, the behavior of cathode rays are similar to that expected from negatively charged particles, suggesting that the cathode ray consists of a negatively charged particle called electron. How many of you remember that positively charged species, the positively charged species are attracted toward the oppositely charged negative, and negative are attracted towards which thing? The positively charged. There's a law of nature. Opposites are going to attract. I am adding something in your dictionary. This is going to be created in which field? The electrical field. We also have another field known as magnetic field. The magnetic field में the negatively charged particle are attracted towards north pole, and the positively charged particles are attracted towards the south pole. Don't forget. The Guru Mantra for you to keep it in mind is N for negative, N for north. So negative particles are attracted towards what? The north pole of the magnet. So whatever is here, if that is going to deflect toward positive, I can tell its nature. And if it is going to deflect toward positive or negative, vice versa, I can tell its nature. What we did was, we matlab the scientist, of course, Michael Faraday and his co-workers, they just put a electric field on the passage of cathode rays. दो electron निकाल ली. So these were found to deflect, whatever is this, towards positive plate. What does that mean? They are going to be negatively charged. I repeat, you are learning a new phenomena known as discharge tube experiment. Whatever is produced, that is traveling from cathode to anode rays. That is why we have kept their name as cathode rays. They are traveling in a straight line and they are going to cast shadow towards the anode side. We do not see them with our eyes. We are going to observe them with certain another method. That is what we discussed, zinc sulfide coated screen. And third thing, important point which you are observing is these cathode rays are negatively charged, right? That is theory. This is new thing. How many of you are interested in space science or maybe many more things? Do you know why and how life is possible on the earth? हमारे पास एक स्टार बैठा है सूर्य, सन, that is bubbling with energy. We do not know how much energy it has. So constantly it is producing energy, and during energy production it is also producing negatively and positively charged particle, which is known as solar storm, solar blast. अगर हम यहाँ पे जिंदा हैं तो भगवान ने, कुदरत ने, you call it God, you call it nature, it is the same thing, has protected us from the deadly effect of those negatively charged particles, right? What is that? We are going to answer. You just learned, bete, negatively charged particles are attracted towards north pole of the magnet. We know that. And for negative, and is not. The positively charged particles are attracted towards the south pole of the magnet. Positive goes towards south. Sun constantly bombard us with dangerous positive and negatively charged species. If we are exposed to these positive or negatively charged species, our DNA will be damaged. The DNA is damaged, the body will not be able to repair it, and immediate death is going to come. So that is why the astronauts or cosmonauts who work in the space, they have to wear protective sheet. The spaceships which goes out of the earth is going to need that protection, because when we are in the earth, the nature has given us something for protection. Earth has a powerful molten iron core deep inside it, and that is rotating. Like आप इमेजिन करो, आप एक लावा केक खा रहे हो, उसके बीच में जो लावा है, जो चॉकलेट है, that is molten, और आप उसको घुमा रहे हो, तो वो वाला ही तो घूमेगा ना. The rotation of iron core inside the earth produces a powerful magnetic field. That is the type of field which earth is going to have. On one side we have north and one side we have south. The north is towards the ऊपर वाले पोल, the कनाडा की तरफ, right, the यूरोप की तरफ, और साउथ इस तरफ ऑस्ट्रेलिया की तरफ चले जाता है. North and south poles are there. This protect these dangerous particles to reach, right, हमारे तक आने से वो रोकता है. The poles which is going to be north and south attract these particles. So what happen is, let it be the north pole. So this is going to attract, मैंने यहाँ पे north लिखा हुआ तो इसको ले लेता हूँ. This is going to attract the negatively charged particle. This is going to attract the positively charged particle. And the people who are staying in the earth will be saved, because अर्थ ने अपने पोल्स की तरफ उनको मंगवा लिया और उसने बीच की धरती सारी की सारी हमारे लिए फ्री कर दी. And that is one of the reason के पोल्स के ऊपर लाइफ भी काफी कम पाई जाती है, because there the problem is going to arise. If you watch the earth from the space, right, say spaceships में, तो you will find this type of jungle fire glowing on the poles. That is known as aurora. Aurora borealis if it happens on the north pole, and if it happens on Australia wali side, this is known as aurora australis. So if you ever get a chance to travel toward the north pole, ऊपर की तरफ यूरोप में चले जाओ या अमेरिका की तरफ से चले जाओ, ग्रीनलैंड की तरफ, you are going to find this type of glow in the atmosphere of the earth. That is due to the charged particle which are thrown by the sun toward the earth, and earth is attracting it. This was deviation in between, right, whatever we have learned, but that should be going well in your life. Let's come out of that and move ahead with our cathode rays. Cathode rays were found to be
Excuse me,
mechanical.
sir.
जी बेटा,
सर जिस टाइम पे अरोरा बोरियालिस होता है तो सारे जो पार्टिकल्स स्पीशीज है वो उधर अट्रैक्ट हो रखे हैं, तो कोई अगर नीचे खड़ा होकर देख रहा है उसे कोई हार्म हो सकता है?
भगवान बहुत बड़े हैं, भगवान मतलब नेचर बोलाकर, है ना। तो जब ये पोल की तरफ आता है, कुदरत ने ना हमारे पास 60 किलोमीटर का एक एटमॉस्फेयर भी दिया है, राइट। यू इमेजिन बेटा, मैं और आप वॉलीबॉल खेल रहे हैं, राइट। तो मैं आपकी तरफ वॉलीबॉल से आपको हिट करता हूं, तो वो जो नेट नहीं है आपके और मेरे बीच में, वो नेट क्या करता है, उसकी एनर्जी को अब्सॉर्ब कर लेता है। So nature has given another protection known as atmosphere. So that atmosphere absorbs the energy of cosmic rays, that is known as cosmic rays, and make it harmless till the time it reaches us. Do you understand मैं क्या कह रहा हूँ? मैं आपकी तरफ एक राइट पंच मार रहा हूँ, तो आपके और मेरे बीच में आपने कोई ऐसी एक इलास्टिक सी चीज रखी हुई है जो कि सारी एनर्जी को अब्सॉर्ब कर लेता है। Now if you travel 60 किलोमीटर above the earth surface, क्या वो हमें बचा पाएगा? नो। कौन बोल रहा है?
अनन्या।
दोबारा बोलो।
अनन्या।
अनन्या, एक बात बता गुड़िया, तो क्या करना चाहता है 10 साल बाद? अपने आप को कहाँ देखना चाहता है?
कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट।
कार्डियोलॉजिस्ट, गुड, राइट। सो आप में से कुछ लोग बायोटेक्नोलॉजिस्ट बनना चाहेंगे। आपको पता है कि किसी ना किसी दिन धरती के ऊपर हम पहले तो करते थे मिटियोर आएगा ही आएगा, एस्टेरॉयड आएगा ही आएगा, द होल अर्थ विल बी स्टरलाइज्ड। नाउ यू हैव सीन अ इवन बिगर डेंजर, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द पैंडेमिक। अभी जो ड्रामा चल रहा है, राइट, समडे these things are going to wipe out the humanity, the life from the earth. It has happened गुड़िया 1000 times on the earth. Do you know कभी डायनासोर भी थे? Do you know other form of life? अब इसके लिए जिन लोगों का दिमाग है, वो लोग क्या करते हैं, वो क्या सोच के बैठे हैं, हमें आउटर स्पेस की तरफ जाना है, समझा? आउटर स्पेस की तरफ जाना है, हमें एन्सेफेलाडस पे जाना है, हमें और सोलर सिस्टम में जाना है जहां पे पानी है, जहां पे हवा है, और हमें वहां पे लाइफ को क्या करना है, प्रोपोगेट करना है। बट ये जो जर्नी है ना, दिस इज वेरी डेंजरस। व्हाई दिस इज वेरी डेंजरस? भगवान भी बहुत बड़े हैं। जैसे कॉकरोचों को हम मार देते हैं ना कि तुम वहीं रहो, हमारे घर में मत आओ, तो उन्होंने हमारे और दूसरी जगह पे जहां पे लाइफ है, वहां पे उन्होंने एक पहरेदार बीच में छोड़ा हुआ है, दैट इज नोन एज कॉस्मिक रेज। आपने सुना है कभी कॉस्मिक रेज अनन्या?
यस सर।
कॉस्मिक रेज आर पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिवली चार्ज पार्टिकल, समझाऊंगा बेटे, अगले लेक्चर्स में आ जाएंगे, विच आर ट्रेवलिंग विद ऑलमोस्ट द स्पीड ऑफ लाइट, 90% द स्पीड ऑफ लाइट। तो जब ये हमारे डीएनए से टकराती हैं, वो उसकी धज्जियां उड़ा देती हैं, तो we will not be able to travel in space. That is going to be a big problem, but that can be solved if you generate a sufficiently large magnetic field around your spaceships. तो क्या वो एक माइक्रो अर्थ जैसा नहीं बन जाएगा? ये जो डेंजरस पार्टिकल आ रहे हैं वो कहाँ चले जाएंगे? ऊपर और नीचे की तरफ, और हम उनको न्यूट्रलाइज करके हम उनको अपने फायदे के लिए ला सकते हैं, उनको बाहर भी फेंक सकते हैं। तो गुड़िया, वी वांट, right, you people, those who are listening to my voice, that they should go and they should find problem to such. You said you are in the medical, that you have a responsibility to finding new cures, and many of you want to be astrophysicists, want to be some another type of engineers. They have to find ये meteoroids को कैसे हम खत्म करेंगे, and few of you engineers will be finding a way that how can we make safe space travel safe. अभी तो सिर्फ सेफ्टी की बात कर रहे हैं ना, एक और बड़ी चीज इंट्रोड्यूस करूंगा थोड़े समय के अंदर ही, ये सब एटॉमिक स्ट्रक्चर में आएगा, that is going to be गुड़िया speed also. Am I able to answer to your question?
Yes sir.
कि हमारे पास सिर्फ भगवान ने, भगवान बोलो या नेचर बोलो एक ही चीज है, ना सिर्फ हमें एक प्रोटेक्शन दी, उसने हमें दूसरी प्रोटेक्शन भी दी, दैट इज नोन एज एटमॉस्फेयर। अब एक बात बता बहन, मार्स के ऊपर लाइफ क्यों नहीं है?
एटमॉस्फेयर नहीं है।
यस, उसका एटमॉस्फेयर लीक कर गया। जब वो एटमॉस्फेयर लीक कर गया तो उसमें से एयर भाग गई तो वी थिंक, वी डू नॉट हैव डॉक्यूमेंट्री एविडेंसेस, वी मतलब एज अ ह्यूमैनिटी, दैट मार्स के ऊपर आज से 3 करोड़ 4 करोड़ साल पहले लाइफ थी। तो उसका एटमॉस्फेयर ना यहाँ से लीक करता है, तुम्हें पता है मार्स का जब वो लीक करता है तो वो पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव जो पार्टिकल्स, डेंजरस सोलर ब्लास्ट आ रहा है, वो उनसे हमें बचा नहीं सकता है। Did you find a strange connection between atomic structure and life and everything which is happening around us? So
Yes,
that is
sir.
class 11th. Forget जो आप class 10th तक करते थे ना, केमिस्ट्री को रट्टा मारते थे, that is gone. Everything interesting is going to come. Shall we move ahead, Gudiya?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Your questions are
Excuse me, sir.
जी, कौन बोल रहा है?
Can I ask a question, Ishita?
Yes, Vidya, why not? Ask.
You said that Aurora Australis is also found in Australia. So,
There's a South Pole, है ना? Antarctica to be precise.
so
Towards
what's
Australia.
the reason for that? Because it's not Australia is not towards North or South Pole.
No, I said towards Australia, Vidya. I just defined the boundary, right? I said North Pole is towards Europe, top of the Earth, है ना? And the South Pole is
Okay.
towards Australia.
Oh, okay.
And that is the reason, Dolly. That is the reason that where the north में जो North Pole में aurora आता है, तो उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Aurora borealis. And what is found towards the South Pole, that is named after Australia, Aurora australis.
Oh,
But
it's
it
after
will be
Australia. Okay.
down that side. Australia is not on the pole, है ना? If you go toward Antarctica, that is the pole. So that is a name.
Okay.
Name से ही दे देते हैं. There is no logic behind it. Right.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Can we move ahead?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
See, your questions keep you interested. अगर आप साइंस को पढ़ते रहो और आपको पता ही ना हो उसका यूज क्या है, that is the useless science. But if you पढ़ते हो साइंस को और आप उसको अपने आसपास कोरिलेट करते हो, that is we people want, right? It is not that you keep on reading. It is you people read and you people think. We want that thought to be coming out. How you can use this application for the benefit of humanity, benefit of the nature. And agenda is to propagate life, take out life from the earth and plant it in the universe. And there might be life, but right now we do not have dedicated engineers, scientists like you who should come forward and do that part. So मेरा आपको पढ़ाने का, आपके पेरेंट्स को आपका पढ़ाने का, ह्यूमैनिटी को आपको पढ़ाने का एक ही मुद्दा है, that you should become scientists. Very soon you will appreciate why I'm going to call you scientist every day, because I'm a mean person. I may not be there after 20 years, after 30 years, but my ideas will be there and that will propagate you, right, to be great scientist. Ask question, Gudiya. चलो आगे चलते हैं वापस कैथोड रे में. ये गप्पे तो पूरे साल चलती रहेंगी, मजेदार सी. These, what were these? हाँ जी अनन्या, cathode rays. We are talking about cathode rays were found to be mechanical. What is mechanical? I hit you with the cricket ball. Imagine I have bottle here. I'm going to hit you. It will hit you. It will have certain kinetic energy. It has certain mass. So cathode rays have certain mass associated with it. Remember that only charged particles get deflected toward oppositely charged plate, right? The electromagnetic waves, the light waves, do not get deflected towards oppositely charged plate. धरती के poles पे light deflect नहीं होती है because light is a wave. So this was the first experiment to tell you that cathode rays are going to have certain mass. Why? Because cathode rays are going to deflect towards the positively charged plate. अगर इनके ऊपर कोई चार्ज ना होता, इनके ऊपर कोई मास ना होता, चार्ज होने के लिए मास होना जरूरी है. You will not found anything which is charged and that is a wave. Now imagine this. हम एक हाइपोथेटिकल जादू का खेल खेलते हैं. इमेजिनेशन प्लीज. तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम यहाँ पे मधु, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बेटा? राइट, हम we just tie a rope here, there is a pole here and there is a pole here. In that rope I just put a key ring here. Key ring, चाबी का छल्ला डाल देते हैं. And I stay here and I keep on staring. You understand staring? हिंदी में बोलते हैं घूर रहा हूं मैं इस की रिंग को. Will this ever move? I want answer from your side. Will this key ring move when I'm staring it? Yes, come on, go ahead. Answer karo, unmute karo.
No, sir.
Bolo. No, certainly yes. It is not going to move, right? Why? When I'm staring it, तो कोई लाइट मेरी तरफ से उसकी तरफ जा रही है और लाइट उसकी तरफ से मेरी तरफ आ रही है. That light does not have a mass, right? Now, second experiment. I take a big fan, बहुत बड़ा फैन ले आता हूं, right? और मैं उस फैन को ऑन कर देता हूं. The fan is blowing air. Then will this ring move? Yes or no? बहुत ज्यादा फ्लो है और मे बी मैं उसको
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Because fan, the air had some air particles. Air particles ने आप लोगों ने सुना होगा अपनी kinetic energy इसको ट्रांसलेट करनी है, ट्रांसफर करनी है. Now that will move and that is going to happen. Why it moved? Because it was particle in nature. Now see, बेटा जब नोट्स बनाओगे ना, ये चीजें सिर्फ आपको सिखाने के लिए हैं, तो don't copy it, right? Like this, don't copy it. Copy whatever I'm writing, whatever I'm stressing. So what they did was, उन्होंने इनके बीच में कैथोड और एनोड के बीच में एक मैकेनिकल पैडल रख दिया. Might be you have seen it, might be you have not seen it, because time have changed. Your parents and I were brought up in a different atmosphere. You people have been brought up in a different atmosphere. हम लोग बचपन में ऐसा ना, हमारे पास एक लकड़ी की छोटी सी केन होती थी, राइट? उसके ऊपर ना एक एयर पैडल सा लग जाता था, पवन चक्की या विंड मिल टाइप. हम उसको लेके कभी कभार भागते थे और वो घूमनी शुरू हो जाती थी. You might have seen it. Maybe you are traveling to a place and you might have seen windmill. So windmill is like this, and there on the top we have a mechanical wheel. So air transfer its energy and that started rotating. That is what I want to say. A pinwheel is placed in between the cathode and anode and it started rotating. If we place a mechanical paddle between cathode and anode, it started rotating, proving that cathode rays have some mass. That is, you conclude that cathode ray have particle, mechanical in nature. ये wave नहीं है, इनका कोई ना कोई mass है. Do you understand? We have proved they are negatively charged and we have proved they are going to have certain mass associated with them. Next point. The characteristic of cathode rays do not depend upon material of electrode. You take platinum, you take copper, you take silver. And the nature of the gas, you take hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, chlorine, any gas present in the cathode ray tube. Everything I'm talking is important. The characteristic does not depend upon anything, that is nature of electrode or the nature of the gas present. Thus, we can conclude that electrons are basic constituent of all atoms. Tomorrow, you are a cardiologist. So you will say the heart structure in every human being is similar. If it has certain abnormality, that has to be corrected or that is taken as exception. So that means heart is fundamental to all of us. My blood, your blood, X person blood contains WBC in that much concentration. That is going to be known as fundamental basic constituent. You understand what is fundamental? Present in everything. I'm taking you to a next level. That is their specific charge. Please wait. It will be explained on the next page. What is specific charge? E by M, abhi batata hu, was always found to be constant, irrespective of whichever gas, whatever gas we take in discharge tube. We come back to this screen. Let's try to understand what is E by M. I introduce in the form of a question. What do you mean by E by M? That is known as specific charge. See, the electric charge, it has certain numerical and unit associated with that, will be represented as E, electric charge, and mass of any object will be represented as M. So the charge by mass ratio is called as specific charge. Do you understand what is specific charge? Let it be a cricket ball. It has zero charge and it has, let it be 200 gram weight. Then what is going to be the E by M? 0. Let it be an electron. Whatever is a charge on that, I will tell you, whatever is a mass of electron, that is going to be known as what? The specific charge. What is specific charge? The charge by mass ratio is called specific charge. Is everyone clear about this new thing which is being introduced? E by M. See, these are the facts, right? You tell me what is your height. You tell me what is your weight. I can't change it. The charge on electron, we are not the creator. We can just understand it, measure it. So we have just measured it. So when I say it, mark it, these are the natural facts. You can't change it. The charge on electron is minus 1.602 10 ki power minus 19 coulombs, right? Coulomb is the unit of charge. You can simply call it capital C. The mass of electron is 9.1 into minus 31 kg. That's again the fact with it. So E by M ratio, specific charge of electron is 1.602 minus 19 coulomb divided by 9.1 into minus 31 kg. Don't solve it because this is standard value. You can do it anytime. This is 1.76 into 10 ki power 11 coulomb per kg. And it is obvious that electron is negative charge. So we do not mention negative. That is but obvious. If it is going to be proton, so that is going to be positive. We are going to divide the charge by the mass. That is going to be the E by M ratio for proton. See ahead. For proton, we are discovering E by M new quantity. Charge is the same, only the sign is different. This is going to be plus, this is going to be minus. The charge, basic fundamental charge is the same. If it is going to be 2 positive, multiplied by 2. If it is going to be 10 positive, multiplied by 10. But minimum charge has to be this, that is found on proton and that is found on electron. It is only the sign is different. Mass of proton, it is standard 1.67, 2 into minus 27 kg. So E by M 9.58 into 7 kilogram per kilogram. Coulomb per kg inverse, whereas this is 1.76 into 10 raised to power 11 coulomb per kg. I ask you, which is greater? Can you correlate? Why this is greater for electron? Because its mass is quite lesser than the mass here. This is minus 37, this is minus 31. So there is approximately 1000 times, rather to be precise, 1836 times smaller है electron का mass as compared to that. Do you people understand that what I have introduced? I have introduced what do you mean by E by M. What is E? The charge. What is M? The mass on that particular object is going to be known as E by M. We have calculated E by M for few fundamental particles. They will not change. They are going to be like this only. They are signatures of electron. They are signature of proton. So that is the important point. The E by M ratio the E by M ratio for cathode rays was always found to be constant, fixed, right? Always obtained 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg. Whatever gas you are taking in discharge tube. Repetition is a key to success. 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg, right? Don't memorize. 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg. So E by M for cathode rays was always found to be this, right? That is, if you take hydrogen, if you take nitrogen, if you take oxygen or any gas, we take in discharge tube, the E by M ratio for cathode rays was always found to be fixed. That is going to be the discovery. Can I come back to this observation? The characteristic of cathode ray do not depend upon material of electrode. That is, technically we say E by M ratio for cathode rays was always found to be constant. Kitna tha bete? 1.76 into 10 to the power 11 coulomb per kg. Now, why it is coming to that, we have not still answered. See, I have made one more summary of characteristics of, you will call it electron very soon, but right now call it cathode rays. These travels from cathode towards anode. These are not visible, but their behavior can be observed with the help of certain fluorescent or phosphorescent substances. In the absence of electric and magnetic field, these travel in straight line. In the presence of electric or magnetic field, the behavior of cathode ray is going to be similar to negatively charged particles. What does that tell you? That cathode rays are negatively charged particles. That's a summary, whatever we have done. There might be few more points. We did it. Characteristics of cathode ray do not depend upon material of electrode and nature of gas present. That is, how do you know? E by M ratio, whatever substance you take in the discharge tube, it was always found to be constant. These are certain new things. Cathode ray produce heat when they strike the metal. Alright? If I'm going to hit you with a cricket ball, or if I'm going to hit this wall with a hammer, or I'm going to drill this wall, or maybe anything, do you observe heating effect will be observed? Alright? Why it happens? Because when I'm hitting it, when I'm pressing it, I'm applying certain kinetic energy, and kinetic energy is going to convert into heat. That also prove that cathode ray have certain mass. Cathode ray travel with the very high speed. The speed of cathode ray is found to be around 10% speed of light in vacuum. Don't memorize, read it like a novel. Okay. The cathode ray possess kinetic energy. You remember how did we prove it? We just put a mechanical paddle in the path of this. The blades of the wheel were set in motion. And important, the name electron was given by a scientist known as Tony. That's a history. So this gentleman named electron. Who got the honor to name you, right? So similarly, the electron was named after Tony. They can produce physical heating. They can produce chemical. They can break the bond also. They have very small ionizing power. What is ionization, beta? If I remove an electron from an atom, the atom is going to be ionized, right? They ionize the gas, matlab atom from which they pass. You imagine I have an apple. I'm just hitting it with a bullet. What is bullet? Kinetic energy है ना? तो वो apple में होल करके निकल जाएगा. Apple का थोड़ा portion chip off करके निकल जाएगा. That is the same thing what we are doing now. They have high penetrating power. घुस जाते हैं. They can pass through air and thin foils without puncturing the foils and without significant loss of energy. So that is, you say they are going to produce X-rays. आपको पता है X-rays का नाम कैसे पड़ा था? रॉयंटजन नाम का साइंटिस्ट ने एक यूरेनियम का सैंपल अपने ड्रॉर में रखता था. और वहां पे साथ में कोई सब्सटेंस रखा जाता था, वो जो एक्सरेज थी ना वो फोटोग्राफिक फिल्म को डेवलप कर देती थी. सो दैट टाइम दे थॉट देयर इज समथिंग, so they just kept the name X-rays. After many years it was left like that also. They discovered what is that, but it was left like that. Anyway, this topic will be discussed separately. They produces X-rays when they strike a target of high atomic weight. So bete, what we have done till now is that we have told you that something was happening in between this and this. We have discovered iska koi mass tha, travel karta tha, negatively charged tha, E/m ratio constant. I have not told you till now what is that. That's still a mystery. There's a category of human being known as scientists. They are always like this. They are never ever satisfied. Why should they? If they are satisfied, will we ever progress? No, we will never ever progress. So they are always restless in nature. They are always discovering something. When this thing was going on, cathode rays were discovered. So there were another group of scientists who were thinking, this is not enough. Kuch to aur hai. That is a curiosity which should come out of you to become a scientist. That should keep you awake during night. Positive rays, canal rays, discovery of proton. That topic is not finished. I'm going to join the two train. One is cathode rays, one is a canal ray together, and they will give out the structure of an atom. The first experiment led to discovery of proton was conducted by scientist Goldstein. All of them were working in one direction. What he did was he used a perforated cathode in the modified cathode ray. ये जो था ना आपके पास, यहाँ पे क्या था बेटा? कैथोड. यहाँ पे क्या था? एनोड. राइट अग्रम? ये नए साइंटिस्ट जी क्या करते हैं, वो कैथोड को परफोरेटेड बना लेते हैं. अग्रम अनम्यूट करो. आपने हिंदी यूज करूंगा, अपने घर में बेटे आटा छानने वाली वो छाननी देखी होगी, राइट? द फिल्टर टाइप ऑफ थिंग बेटे, जैसे आप चाय को छानते हैं तो उसमें होल्स होते हैं ना. हमने ये जो कैथोड थी पहले ऐसे बनाई थी, अब हमने इस कैथोड के अंदर होल्स ले लिए. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट हैज हैपेंड? इट इज अ सर्कुलर टाइप ऑफ थिंग व्हिच इज हैविंग होल्स इन दैट. दैट लेड टू डिस्कवरी ऑफ प्रोटॉन. अभी समझते हैं, राइट? व्हाट हैपेंड? दिस वाज द न्यू स्केच. सिर्फ अग्रिम क्या हुआ, जो आपके पास कैथोड थी बेटे उसमें क्या आ गए हैं? होल्स आ गए हैं. Symbolically, son, I'm showing it as holes. Do you understand? What happened? The same experiment was repeated. कैसे? बहुत ज्यादा करंट लगाया गया, वैक्यूम क्रिएट किया गया, तो हमने पाया ये तो हो ही रहा था. The cathode rays were there. There was a new found glow. Right? This was there, but there was a new found glow जब हमने इसमें क्या किया अग्रिम? होल्स किए. Now what is that? That is going to be our agenda. You are confused, I know it, and that should happen because we are progressing. You understand बेटे? उन्होंने एक नया एक्सपेरिमेंट किया, सिर्फ पढ़ना बेटे. It was observed when high potential difference was applied between the electrode, not only cathode rays are produced, but also a new type of rays were produced simultaneously from anode. अब उल्टा बेटे, moving from cathode. I will tell you how do we check it. Again opaque object रख के देखेंगे, अगर उसकी shadow इस तरफ आ गई तो उसका origin उस तरफ था. And pass through the holes or pores, canals of the cathode. These were termed as anode rays, canal rays, or positive rays, as they originated from anode or canal. Canal का मतलब जानता है ना, नहरें. Since they passed through the canals of the cathode, the positively charged particle were named later. अभी समझाता हूँ. By Rutherford. इलेक्ट्रॉन का नामकरण किसने किया? स्टोनी ने. और द प्रोटॉन का नाम किस साइंटिस्ट ने किया? रदरफोर्ड ने. आपने अपने 10th में 9th में शायद रदरफोर्ड के बारे में थोड़ा सा सुना हुआ है. So we are in a dilemma. we are now going to search what is the nature of that. When we will think what is going to be the origin, ये हो रहा है. Now the same experiments which were done here were repeated for the anode rays, and it was found that these travel from anode to cathode. I hope by this time you people are comfortable कि हमें डायरेक्शन कैसे पता लगती थी. करमजोत है ना, हमें डायरेक्शन पता लगती थी जिस तरफ शेडो आ रही है, ओरिजिन कहाँ था बेटे, ऑपोजिट तरफ था. These also have mass. ढिंसा कैसे पता लगेगा बेटे, उसने भी मैकेनिकल पैडल घुमाया. These are positively charged, कैसे पता लगेगा, these are going to be deflect towards negatively charged plate or the south pole. But important चीज, I will repeat 10 times, don't worry. These have different E by M ratio for different gases. If you take hydrogen, this was different. If you take nitrogen, the E by M ratio was different. उनके लिए क्या आ रहा था? Yes, Amodani, unmute. That was found to be same. इसके लिए क्या आ रहा था? E by M ratio गुड़िया different.
Different.
Right? बोलते रहो, उसी से आप सीखोगे. याद तो मैंने करना ही नहीं देना, करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है बेटे. एंड
सर डायरेक्शन चेक
बोलो
हमें तो
बोलो,
गैल्वानो
सुना नहीं बच्चे, दोबारा बोल.
सो जैसे हमने डायरेक्शन चेक करनी है तो हम गैल्वानोमीटर से नहीं कर सकते चेक.
नहीं, गैल्वेनोमीटर सिर्फ वोल्टेज बताता है कि नहीं है, वो डायरेक्शन नहीं देता बेटे. गैल्वेनोमीटर ये कौन बोल रहा है, आपको सिर्फ रीडिंग देता है कि इट इज गोइंग टू बी प्लस है या माइनस, कितने वोल्ट है, कितने एम्पियर है. ठीक बच्चे, सो दैट डज नॉट टेल यू द डायरेक्शन. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड सन?
यस सर.
तो डायरेक्शन के लिए तो बेटे आपको शेडो वाली चीज, जैसे आप अपने कमरे में इमेजिन कीजिए ना, बिकॉज दीज आर वेव्स आल्सो, तो डायरेक्शन हमें वहीं से पता लगती है. तो इफ वी टेक हाइड्रोजन गैस, the anode rays from hydrogen were found to have highest E by M ratio. एक्सप्लेन करूंगा बेटे काफी बार.
सर एक डाउट है
तो पूछो जी.
सर, वो जो आप एक बार वो डायग्राम वाली स्लाइड खोल दो.
हाँ जी,
इसमें जो ये रेड लाइंस हैं ये क्या इंडिकेट कर रही हैं और ये जो ग्रीन लाइंस हैं ये क्या इंडिकेट कर रही हैं?
गुड़िया अभी थोड़े समय में बताऊंगा, बट फिर भी दोबारा बता रहा हूँ. ये तो हमने पहले कैथोड रे देख लिया था, इनके ऊपर
हाँ
चार्ज
जी.
क्या नेगेटिव था वगैरह वगैरह. ये हमें एक नया ड्रामा पैदा हो गया था और उसका नाम हमने एनोड रे रखा. ये क्या है, हम अभी इसकी डिस्कवरी में जा रहे हैं. इट विल टेक लिटिल बिट ऑफ टाइम डॉली इसको एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए. ठीक है, सो व्हाटएवर
तो
इज,
जो वो कैथोड वाली साइड नहीं होंगी.
दोबारा बोल.
सो जो होल्स हैं वो कैथोड वाली साइड नहीं होंगी.
होल्स नहीं, कैथोड की तरफ है बेटे. अब ये इस तरफ से आ रहे हैं, राइट. अगर मैं यहाँ पे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट रखता हूं तो इसकी शेडो इस तरफ आ रही है. अभी देख तो सी, अभी जस्ट वेट. द कैथोड वाज यूज्ड एज परफोरेटेड. अगर एनोड में होल करता तो कैथोड रेस पीछे की तरफ जाती बेटे, है ना, बिकॉज दीज आर ट्रेवलिंग इन दिस डायरेक्शन. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड राजा? चलो आगे.
यस सर.
तो बेटे ये जो नया जो ग्लो था, आप मेरे साथ पढ़िए. दिस इज फाउंड टू ट्रेवल फ्रॉम एनोड टू कैथोड. ओए ये मैंने ये अच्छा ये कैथोड साइड लिख दिया है ना. दिस इज गोइंग टू बी क्या था, एनोड, एंड दिस इज
यस सर,
गोइंग टू,
यहीं पे कंफ्यूजन हो रही है.
वो हमने ये कैथोड साइड लिख दिया था. ये मैंने बोला था दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अराइजिंग फ्रॉम कैथोड. नो, बट वी रोट दिस मच ओनली. दिस इज एनोड, दिस इज कैथोड. वी आर डूइंग इट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग. एक नंबर, पेज नंबर 43 याद रखना. दिस इज व्हाट वी आर डूइंग फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट फिगर, राइट. Cathode is on which side? The left hand side. Anode is on which side? The right hand side. This cathode was made perforated and we got certain new glow, certain new thing here. Now we are discussing that. चल सकते हैं आगे?
यस सर.
सर कैथोड परफोरेट किया, फिर एनोड से कैथोड कैसे जा रही है?
अरे यार 2 मिनट पोस्टपोन कर यार, अभी बताता हूँ. ठीक, अब भी रुक जा बेटे, उसका अभी समय आना है, वो इंटरवल के बाद की चीज है. We are explaining it. अभी तो इंटरवल होगा, इंटरवल के बाद क्लाइमैक्स आएगा, अभी क्लाइमैक्स आने वाला है। कौन बोल रहा था ये, मेरे साथ बात कर रहा था?
अग्रिम।
तो ऊंची बोलो, नाम बोलो।
अग्रिम।
Okay, so we will explain it, my son, right? So these are positive charge. Right now, बेटा सिर्फ उनके nature के ऊपर focus करिए. These travel from anode to cathode. These are going to have certain mass. These are positively charged. Please focus. I will explain each and every line. Everything will be repeated when we are going to just revise it. The first point you are observing is E by M ratio is different for anode rays. For cathode rays, it was same. And if we take hydrogen gas, the E by M ratio was found to be this. So you do not know why it is happening. We are on the verge of explanation of that. So the idea is origin of cathode ray and anode ray. Now the drama is going to end. You will know the climax. Who is Mr. Cathode rays? Who is Mr. Anode rays? What is the idea? From there, we are being produced. And next class, we will just be putting them at their place and we will be making the atomic structure. Sit tight. Be relaxed, right? No need to hurry up. We are answering you what is the origin of cathode rays and anode rays. Do you understand that this is which is moving from right side to left side, right to left, that is going to be known as beta cathode rays. And we are going to introduce one more thing which is moving from, oh मैंने उल्टा नहीं कर दिया, left to right. एक मिनट बेटे, अभी ठीक कर देता हूँ, अभी एक मिनट, वो right और left में फर्क हो गया, एक सेकेंड. So this is going to be which is moving from your left. Give me a few seconds. Yes. Oh, एक सेकंड बेटे, my pen has थोड़ा सा नाराज हो गया है, वो बेचारा. I think that should work. Which is moving from left to right is going to be known as Abhinav cathode rays, and which is moving from right side to left side is going to be named as anode rays. I explain you what is going to happen. See, when high voltage current struck the gaseous atoms, the gas atom were ionized. Do you understand? Symbolically, let it be the hydrogen atom. When current is going to hit its sun, then what is going to happen? It will be ionized. It will be converted into a positively charged species, which is going to be known as kernel. Kernel, जैसे नारियल को आप खोपा बोलते हैं, शायद आपने सुना होगा. So that is we call as kernel. You can call it cation also. Don't have any objection. Plus electron is going to be formed. Everybody understand that statement A समझ आया? When gaseous atom ionize, it is going to convert into two species, positively charged kernel and negatively charged electron. Anybody having any problem on this page? Shall I go to the next page? No problem. See, the negatively charged electron move toward positively charged anode and makes the which rays? Cathode ray. On this side you have cathode and this side you have anode. Anode is with charge? Positive. Now, since every atom, it may be hydrogen, it may be nitrogen, it may be helium, all gives same electron. Electron is same. आप हाइड्रोजन का इलेक्ट्रॉन लेके नाइट्रोजन में डाल दो, नाइट्रोजन का हीलियम में डाल दो, हीलियम का कार्बन में दे दो, इलेक्ट्रॉन इज द सेम. Like my blood, if it is free from any disease, it can be transfused to any patient, any person. That is, my blood is fundamental. It does not know any race, right? It has to be checked medically only. That's it. So similarly, electron is a fundamental. You read it, it's very important. Every atom has same electron. Therefore, E by M ratio for cathode is same irrespective of the nature of the gas. Do you understand this concept? Right? Please, Kadam, if you have mic, unmute. Or Sakshi, you can unmute. Siddharth, you can unmute.
Yes,
Anyone?
sir.
Yeah, Sakshi, welcome with it. Sakshi is with me. Sakshi, do you understand? बेटे मैं क्वेश्चन पूछूंगा, जब तक नहीं समझ आए तब तक पूछते रहना, ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
साक्षी, जो कैथोड रेज है गुड़िया, that is flow of electrons. Electrons कहाँ से produce हो रहे हैं गुड़िया? That is produced by ionization of atom. ये statement clear है बेटे?
Yes, sir.
What is the charge on electron, Sakshi? Negative. So negative will move toward which plate, Vidya? Positive or the negative
Yes, sir.
plate? It will move
Positive.
toward positive
Positive.
plate. And when it is moving toward this plate, this is going to be known as what? Cathode
Cathode
rays. What are cathode rays, Dolly? The flow of electron. What is the charge on cathode ray? Negative. Now, answer, you read it. Will hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, chlorine, oxygen atom give same electron? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So will E by M will be always same for cathode rays? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, darling, we have this. Now let's focus toward what? The positively charged. You remember this was, say, atom. इसमें से दो हिस्से निकल गए हैं. This is the electron. It has gone toward positive plate. Now this is what? Positive. Is it clear? Now let's
Yes,
see
sir.
fate of this positively charged particle. Right? Now what happened is the positively charged kernel move towards negatively charged cathode and constitute anode ray, Gudiya. Do you understand
Yes,
this? ये क्या है? Kernel. Kernel will move towards the cathode ray. See, if the cathode is not perforated, this is not perforated, beta, then the positively charged kernel will strike the negatively charged cathode and it will be neutralized. तो क्या वो पीछे हमारी एनोड रेज डिटेक्ट होंगी कि नहीं होंगी?
No, sir.
No, are not detected. You understand? But when cathode is perforated, few kernels can pass through the holes, canals. ये देखो,
Yes,
जो
sir.
आपका कर्नल इसके साथ टकरा जाएगा, ये वाला भाई, this is going to be destroyed मतलब neutralized. But those who are fortunate enough to pass through the holes, perforation, they will constitute what, my son? The
Anode
anode.
rays.
Now, do you understand why perforations were needed to detect the anode rays? Because
Yes, sir.
ना होती तो that will be neutralized. Do you understand Hindi and English all well now? Anybody having
Yes,
any
sir.
problem with Hindi or English? I can use both language comfortably well. So you just let me. Normally our mode of communication is Hinglish, which is mixture of Hindi and English. So Sakshi, can I move further, darling?
Yes, sir.
So focus on this. Therefore, are you satisfied that anode rays are flow of positively charged kernels
Yes, sir.
and cathode rays are flow of negatively charged electron? So do you understand what this Mr. Smiley want to tell you? Understand? Forget? Now you tell me, Gudiya, just between you and me, you represent class, ask question, and if anyone has other problem, you can please talk. I have two atoms, bete. I have two atoms. लो, I have one another bottle. मेरे को अपने गले के लिए ऐसा कुछ ले रखना पड़ता है, right? So this is one atom. This is another atom. This is another atom. So I have right now three atoms. Will they have same mass?
Sir,
Yeah.
if it is anode, then they have not same masses.
नहीं नहीं. My question, I repeat, Dolly. उसका जवाब देना, ठीक? Do any two different atoms of different element, hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, have same masses?
No, sir.
No. No different atom has same mass. पता है आपको? right?
Yes, sir.
एक और बात बता गुड़िया, which is the lightest atom what you know from class 10? Lightest, सबसे हल्का एटम, सबसे छोटा एटम कौन सा है? Hydrogen. You know, because hydrogen has a mass 1, helium the
Yes,
next
sir.
atom 4 times mass, nitrogen has 14 times mass than hydrogen. So एक बात बताओ, since different atoms have different masses, I hope you understand Gudiya. Therefore, positive kernels obtained from different atoms have different E by M. Let
Yes,
it be
sir.
Dolly H plus. पता है अगर नहीं पता तो मैं, हाइड्रोजन का मास इज 1, हीलियम का मास इज 4 times than hydrogen, नाइट्रोजन का मास इज 14 times. So this is a reference. Let it be between you and me, they have lost 1 electron, so I'm taking E as E by M. Mass is 1, E by 4 and E by 14. Which is going to be highest? E by M ratio for H plus. Which is going to be in these 3 cases the smallest, the E by M ratio Dolly for the nitrogen. You can mute yourself with it. You can mute yourself. So my question to you people is, then you can unmute and then you can ask is, on this screen I'm telling you different anode rays producer. Do you understand? One produced from hydrogen, one produced from helium, one produced from nitrogen. Do they have same mass? तीनों चीजों में से same mass है? No. So will E by M ratio be same? No. And which case the E by M ratio will be maximum? It will be for H ions because it has the least mass. Come once again. Since all atoms, the hydrogen atom has least mass. The E by M ratio for anode rays obtained from hydrogen atom have highest E by M ratio. Do you understand it? Yes or no? That was a point I was stressing. This is the only point which is important. Yes, I want answer from your side. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Anybody having no? I just want to hear that. I will explain it 20 times. Yes, good. So this is true. And for H ion, this is maximum. We have learned. Now, who was asking, right? And I said, देखो अभी climax आएगा. Yes, it was Siddharth or someone else. Following observation were made for anode rays beta. These travel from anode to cathode. These also have mass, mechanical pi d. These are going to be positively charged. Do you understand? Both these have different E by M ratio. They have different E by M ratio because masses are going to be different. When we take hydrogen gas, the anode rays obtained from H2 were found to have highest mass. Once again, this figure. Now, do you understand? In this figure, I'm diagrammatically showing you, I'm now going to repeat it. Let it be one time hydrogen atom, another time helium atom, another time nitrogen atom, another time chlorine atom, right? Remember, one time, one. The hydrogen, the helium, the nitrogen, the chlorine will lose same electron. If electron is same, then E by M ratio is going to be constant. Story closed. Cathode rays are flow of electron obtained by ionization of different atoms. Left hand side. Now, the positively charged kernels which escape through the holes, canals, are going to be called as the anode rays. They are going to be called as anode rays. So anode rays are flow of positively charged kernels. Will E by M ratio constant? No, it will be variable because each of the cation kernel will be having different mass, for which E by M ratio is going to be maximum. The proton, it is going to be the maximum, right? Thus, we are going to introduce electron is defined as, Stoney ने define किया, smallest negatively charged particle. Nothing smaller than electron exists, negatively charged, right? The charge on electron, it is important bit. The more you write, the more number of times you write, that will get printed in your mind. You have to remember what is the normal blood pressure of a human being, what is a normal level of triglyceride sugars of a human being, what is a normal temperature during summer, right? What temperature we can tolerate. So this is the fundamental. The charge on electron is minus 1.602 minus coulombs, minus 19. The mass of electron is 9.1 into minus 31 kg. Important. Repetition is a key to success. The proton is defined as smallest positively charged particle. Electron, smallest negative. Proton is the smallest positively charged particle. See, the charge on proton is magnitude same, only the sign is different. Electron is negative, the proton is positive. And mass of electron is very, very high, 1.672 into minus 27 kilogram. Now, what is going to be the proton? The H plus, the particle obtained from the hydrogen atom, which has the highest E by M ratio, that was defined as proton. दोबारा देखो. Properties of anode rays, simply to be read over. Anode ray consists of a positively charged particles and carries a unit charge. This is going to be this. What do you mean by unit? A particular species can have 1.6 into minus 19, another can have 2, another can have 4, another can have 10. The nature of these rays depends upon nature of the gas used in the discharge tube. The lightest positively charged particle, proton, was detected in the study of positive rays when hydrogen gas was present in the discharge tube. You remember, with perforated cathode. The number of protons in the nucleus of an atom is known as atomic number. I hope you remember, hydrogen has 1, helium has 2, nitrogen has 7, oxygen has 8, and so on. The number of protons is going to exist in multiples. The anode ray travel in straight line. Cathode rays also travel in straight line. The anode rays get deflected by electric field. They bend towards negative plate. Cathode rays also get deflected by electric field. They bend toward the positive plate. Anode ray can produce mechanical as well as chemical change. That has energy, so it can break bond. It can produce heating effect. Anode rays are also deflected by magnetic field in direction opposite to that of cathode ray. This shows that anode ray are nothing but the positively charged species. The charge to mass, that is E by M, for particle of positive rays is not equal of all gases. See, repetition, only repetition. It depends upon the nature of the gas taken in discharge tube. That is, positive particle are different in different gases. Positive charges, particles are going to be different in different gases. For hydrogen, for nitrogen. The E by M ratio for anode rays is very small as compared to E by M value for cathode ray. Why? Cathode ray इलेक्ट्रॉन का मास बहुत ज्यादा छोटा है. If it is smaller, then beta, the E by M ratio is definitely going to be quite large. Jasmine, the E by M ratio for anode rays obtained from hydrogen gas was found to be highest. See गुड़िया, यहाँ पे मैंने क्या चेंज किया है? 9.58 into 10⁴ coulomb per gram. There I gave you the value in kg. So this is going to be coulomb per gram. अब देखो बेटे एक चीज करते हैं, this is E by M, right, and this is E. Two things, let us divide E by M. So what is going to be that? E into M. अगर मैं इसको डिवाइड कर दूं तो क्या आपके पास मास ऑफ पार्टिकल नहीं आ जाएगा? So we can also get mass of a particle by dividing E by M. ज्यादा इसको बिल्कुल मत रखना, मैं आपसे पहले खड़ा हूंगा याद करवाने के लिए, to be read over, right? Thus it was assumed that the positive particle given by hydrogen represent a fundamental particle of positive charge. This particle was called proton by Rutherford. A proton is a subatomic particle which has a mass nearly 1 AMU. Next class, I'm going to tell you that is 1.672 into minus 24 gram. That is a mass of a proton. 1.672 into minus 27 kg. That was the idea that why I did the unitary mathematics in the last class. And a charge of 1 unit, 1.6 into minus 19 coulomb. After a little bit of time, there was another gentleman who was known as Chadwick. After discovery of proton and electron, it was noted that all the mass of the atom cannot be accounted for the basis of only proton and electron. Something was missing. That was found by Chadwick, and उन्होंने नाम रखा the neutron. Right? Don't read this point. I will explain when the time comes. Just wait. The mass of neutron is approximately the similar to that of proton. But remember, mass is slightly more than that of proton. That is, in terms of mass, electron से ज़्यादा mass proton, और proton से भी ज़्यादा mass is going to be for neutron. Don't memorize it, right? It is going to be 1.0089. I will tell you when the time comes. So I hope you understand. Mass of electron, much greater mass of proton and mass of neutron. So what is going to be the heaviest subatomic particle? The neutron is the heaviest subatomic particle. See the beauty of the mother nature, right? What she does it. She want to create a atom. So like you go to Mandir or Gurdwara, she has a pigeon box which has electron, which has proton, and which has neutron, right? It takes one proton and around it rotate one electron, and you will be called as hydrogen atom. You will be called as hydrogen atom. Then it takes one proton, it takes another proton, it finds that there is going to be the repulsion. Then it packs neutron between that, and to make it electrically neutral, it revolves two electrons around it, and you will be called as helium. Do you understand? We go to nitrogen atom. Nitrogen atom contains 7 protons. Just to minimize the repulsion, positive और positive तो आपस में लड़ेंगे. Nature 7 neutron in between proton. Around it, that is going to add 7 electron, and that is going to be known as nitrogen atom. See, the basic building blocks are the same, and the mother nature is creating the whole universe, you, me, the star, anything you can dream of, with the help of only these 3 fundamental particles. So welcome into the atomic structure. That is our agenda. Let's solve few questions. Let's discuss few questions which we have learned today, right? Sana, unmute yourself. The question is, why low pressure is needed for origin of cathode and anode rays? Nobody asked me this question, right? Yes.
Yes,
Can
sir.
you try? Can you try? See,
So
bolo.
because air at normal pressure would not conduct the
charge.
चलिए अभी बताते हैं. Imagine करो this is you and we have given you a target that if you reach here then you will win a trophy, right? Now what happened in this room, we have put 250 or maybe 1000 people, right? Then what will happen when you try to enter into that room, you will be striking with these people, right?
Yes, sir.
And you will find very difficult to reach to your target. That is the first situation. Now that is the second situation, Bide. This is you and this is the target where the trophy lies, right? And I just put one person or maybe 2% in a big room. Then this is the second situation where you will be able to reach your target easily.
Yes, sir.
You will not strike with any person. Isn't it the second situation? Now,
Yes, sir.
in place of you, you just imagine this is electron. In place of target, you please imagine this is going to be the positively charged, the anode, right? Here it is electron and here it is the positively charged. In place of these molecule, this person, you just imagine the gaseous atoms. So here the electron will strike against lots of atoms. So it will be squeezing its way out, right? While in the second case, when Bide, low pressure, what do you understand by low pressure? Low pressure means very, hanji beta, less atoms. So
Atoms.
very less atom, you will be observing what the cathode or anode rays. Do you understand, my dear student?
Yes.
Please explain in your words. You can use Hindi, Punjabi, German, French, any language, right? No restriction on the language. You please explain me why low pressure is needed for the origin of anode rays. Yep, bolo. Right.
So
Bolo
because
beta.
at normal pressure there will be a lot of atoms in the way of the electron, and it will not be able to reach the its
Anode.
yes, anode. And at low pressure it will have a clear path.
Yes, that's a word. It will have clear path. It will encounter less collisions with the useless atoms which are not required. Now, beta, do you understand that if we put an electrode here and we put an electrode in front of you in your room, will the current move from cathode to anode? No.
No.
Normal circumstance? No. आपको पता है अब तो हमारा हिंदुस्तान तो सच में बहुत अच्छा है, तो here you will not find it. से पुराने समय का मतलब 2 या 3 साल पहले एक ना फ्लोरोसेंट ट्यूब्स आया करती थी, शायद आपने देखी हो, व्हाइट कलर की ट्यूब्स होती थी हमारे घरों में, राइट? तो उसमें अंदर वैक्यूम होता था, व्हाइट ट्यूब्स, शायद आप लोगों ने देखी हो, राइट? उसमें that is nothing but beta, this is also known as cathode ray tube or discharge tube. So on one side we had cathode, another side we had anode और बीच में वैक्यूम था, और इसके अंदर ना हमने जिंक सल्फाइड लाइक कोटिंग की होती थी. Now electrons will be produced from cathode and when they will be traveling, they will be hitting the zinc sulfide and they will be producing what thing, Gudia? The light was produced. So that is another application of the discharge tube. You can mute yourself, right? I want someone from your side. Agrim, चलो भी आपको unmute किया जाता है. Yes, Agrim, these are revision and they should go, right? We are just revising, but you should complete this homework in your own words. Agrim, सुन पा रहे हो? Why
Yes,
E
sir.
by M ratio for cathode rays obtained using different gases in discharge tube is always found to be same. Yes, बेटे हमने किया ना, कैथोड रेज अगर हम different gases ले तो discharge tube में, this is dt, is always found to be E by M same. यस
सर क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉन्स तो सब में सेम ही होते हैं।
वेरी गुड, बिल्कुल सही बोल लो। इलेक्ट्रॉन इज सेम इन all atoms,
ऑल एटम।
right? In science we used to have proper word, ये मैंने बोला। Also tell what do you conclude from this observation, आप जो कह रहे हैं वो सही कह रहे हैं। तो आप बोलेंगे इलेक्ट्रॉन इज, हाँ जी बेटा पढ़ के बताओ, फंडामेंटल पार्टिकल।
पार्टिकल।
यू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज फंडामेंटल पार्टिकल? आप हाइड्रोजन, हीलियम, नाइट्रोजन, यूरेनियम, पोटेशियम, आयरन किसी में भी जाओ तो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स तो हमेशा क्या होंगे? सेम। ऐसे बेटे प्रोटॉन भी सेम होंगे। आपको पता है जो हाइड्रोजन एटम है इट हैज नो न्यूट्रॉन, पता है तुम्हें? इट हैज नो न्यूट्रॉन। हाइड्रोजन एटम में सिर्फ एक प्रोटॉन और एक इलेक्ट्रॉन होता है। सो दैट इज व्हाई बेटा अगर हम हाइड्रोजन में से इलेक्ट्रॉन निकाल ले तो आपके पास क्या रह जाता है? एक प्रोटॉन। सो प्रोटॉन इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू बी विच पार्टिकल? अ फंडामेंटल पार्टिकल। इज इट क्लियर?
Yes.
Right. Kadam Tuli, I want you to unmute. I'm just saying at random name bete. Does your mic work, Tuli? If it is not, then Sakshi, please join me. Yes, Sakshi.
Yes, sir.
Yes. There's a question on the board bete. Why E by M ratio for anode rays obtained by using different gases in discharge tube is always different, Gudiya?
So because the number of atoms are different.
Yep. Number
Electrons,
of
electrons
no.
are different.
E by M ratio for kernel mass will be, आप ही ने तो बताया था मेरे साथ, for different, for let it be H plus, let it be helium plus, let it be nitrogen plus, है ना बुढ़े? तो सबका अगर mass different होगा, let it be E, let it be E by 4, let it be E by 14. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, yes गुड़िया, E by M क्या करेगा? हाँ जी, वेरी करेगा। Is it clear? Amodini, anybody else can jump in. Yes, Amodini, if your mic works, I would love you to answer this question.
Yes, sir.
Why E by M ratio for anode rays obtained by using hydrogen gas is maximum as compared to E by M ratio for anode rays obtained from another gases? Yes, Dolly.
So because it has the minimum, because it has the minimum mass.
Very right. So let it be one electron gone. So what is the mass of hydrogen? 1. What is the mass of helium? 4. What is the mass of nitrogen? 14. And bete, don't worry. In the coming classes, I'm going to explain you why helium has 4 mass. But right now, I'm just assuming you know that. Because in chemistry, whatever has happened, we will do everything again. Everything. We will not assume that you have done anything in class till class 10th. Is it clear, son? Everybody satisfied with this question? Right. Who will join me from your side? I welcome anyone. Give 2 practical application of the discharge tubes. Anyone? Karamjot, will you try? Yes. Karamjot, will you try? हाँ बोलो.
Yes, sir. So TVs and LEDs.
Very good. Television, right? Second, अभी आपको एक
fluorescent tubes.
फ्लोरोसेंट ट्यूब आपने देखी है बेटे? अभी तो हमारे घर में एलईडी और ये सब आ गया ना, तो इसकी वजह से ये चेंज हो गया CFL वगैरह, अदरवाइज दैट वाज द एप्लीकेशन. फाइंड मोर. एंड व्हाट आर इलेक्ट्रॉन? व्हाट इज इलेक्ट्रॉन? Electron is a fundamental particle.
Smallest negatively charged particle.
Very good. तो बेटे let it be इलेक्ट्रॉन के E को 1 रख लेते हैं. आपको क्या क्लास 9th और 10th में से पता है? मास ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉन इज अराउंड 1836 टाइम्स मास ऑफ प्रोटॉन? किसी को अंदाजा है बच्चों? डू यू रिमेम्बर? नहीं तो मैं आपको नई चीज बता रहा हूं। तो इसका मास, अगर मैं प्रोटॉन को 1 यूनिट लेते हैं, बेसिकली ना हम प्रोटॉन को 1 यूनिट मान लेते हैं, जैसे आपने मिलीग्राम वगैरह किया है ना, तो उसका मास कितना हो जाएगा? 1836। व्हाट इज प्रोटॉन बच्चों? द स्मॉलेस्ट फंडामेंटल
Positively charged.
अच्छा, प्रोटॉन का मास मैं कितना लूं? 1। अगर नहीं पता तो यू आर लर्निंग न्यू थिंग्स। ओके, प्रोटॉन इज 1 यूनिट मास। गुड। अच्छा, न्यूट्रॉन, न्यूट्रॉन के ऊपर चार्ज कितना होता है दोस्तों?
Zero.
And mass of proton is approximately equal to mass of neutron, और हम इसको 1 यूनिट एटॉमिक मास यूनिट मानते हैं। तो इसका E/m कितना आ गया? 0। क्या किसी को अल्फा पार्टिकल के बारे में पता है?
Yes,
अल्फा
sir.
बोलो बोलो। इट इज
Sir,
क्या
it
हो?
is the positively charged radioactive particle which consists of 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Basically, it is a helium atom.
वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड, वेरी गुड। सो बेटा, मैं यहाँ पे ड्रॉ करता हूँ जो आपने मुझे बोला, बिल्कुल सही बोला था। 2 प्रोटॉन्स एंड 2 न्यूट्रॉन, एंड इसके आसपास डॉली कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन घूम रहे हैं? 2
electrons.
दिस इज हीलियम एटम, है ना? तो इसको आयनाइज कर देते हैं, तो आपके पास सिर्फ क्या रह जाता है? 2 प्रोटॉन 2 न्यूट्रॉन। इसको आप लिखते हो हीलियम, इसको आप लिखते हो ये, और आप इसको क्या बोलते हो? आपने बिल्कुल सही बोला, अल्फा
Particle.
और इसको ऐसे भी लिखते हैं। एक बात बता गुड़िया, इसका मास कितना होगा?
So, mass of
4।
helium.
हाँ बिल्कुल 4 के बराबर होगा, क्योंकि इलेक्ट्रॉन का तो कोई मास होता ही नहीं। हम अगली क्लास में यही आपको समझाने वाले हैं, ठीक? और बेटा इसके ऊपर E कितना होगा? 2 पॉजिटिव है ना, सो इट इज 2E। मैंने E की वैल्यू नहीं डाली, मैंने उसको E ले लिया है। सो इफ आई से अल्फा पार्टिकल का E/m, कैन आई टेक इट 2E?
Yes, sir.
Can I take it this? Does everyone understand electron, proton, neutron, alpha particle का E/m? Write it down. Write it down. I mean something. Then I'm going to conclude it. I mean something. उत्कर्ष लिख लीजिए। कुछ पूछने वाला हूं आपसे बेटे, लास्ट चीज इस लेक्चर की। Yes, पाठक, have you written?
Yes, sir.
अनु, लिख लिया बेटे?
हाँ जी सर।
गुड। बातें किया करो यार, क्वेश्चन पूछा करो।
Yes, sir.
We are sitting in a family, right? अब मेरे प्यारे से बच्चों, मुझे ये क्वेश्चन करके दीजिए। आदित्य पाठक मेरे से बात कर रहे हैं आप, है ना? ठीक?
Yes, sir.
The failure does not matter. You have tried that. It's always in the science better. You know, 10 teams are working for development of vaccine against coronavirus. Out of that, 9 may fail, but those 9 are going to help humanity that this path should not be. So that is not a failure for collective, for we people, it is for benefit बेटे। तो राजा, न्यूट्रॉन को इधर रखता हूं, अल्फा पार्टिकल को इधर रखता हूं, प्रोटॉन को पार्टिकल इधर रखता हूं, और इलेक्ट्रॉन को, ठीक? संभाल लेना बेटे। सबके चार्ज को मैं E की टर्म्स में बोलता हूं। न्यूट्रॉन के ऊपर चार्ज
0.
हीलियम के ऊपर 2E लिख दो।
Yes, sir.
अब E लिख रहा हूं बेटे। प्रोटॉन के ऊपर कितना चार्ज होता है?
E.
और इलेक्ट्रॉन के ऊपर भी कितना चार्ज होता है? E, राइट? Do
Yes, sir.
not pay any attention to minus or positive sign. See the magnitude. So that is why I have not written plus here, I have not written plus here, I have not written minus here. E by m आपके पास एक क्वांटिटी आएगी. न्यूट्रॉन का मास कितना होगा?
1.
अल्फा पार्टिकल का पाठक कितना मास
4.
होगा?
4.
नहीं बेटा, अपनी डिक्शनरी में ऐड करता रहे. प्रोटॉन और न्यूट्रॉन का मास अप्रोक्सीमेटली कितना होता है? 1. और इसका मास
1 by
अप्रोक्सीमेट
1, 3, 6.
कितना? तो बेटे मेरी मदद करना. E by 2, that is E, 1836 E. So what is going to be the increasing order? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
That's going to be an important thing which we have learned. So let's come out of whatever we have learned, right? Just a quick go through. We started with the discovery of fundamental particles. In the coming session, we will take you inside that. The journey will begin. And you know, this is the most powerful thing you can ever imagine. The whole universe starts from that. Just feel the power. Let अपने आप को छोड़ दो, इसके अंदर जाने दो. बहुत भयंकर चीजें देखेंगे हम. इसमें से न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब बनाएंगे. यस, जहां पे मैं एंड करूंगा वो न्यूक्लियर बॉम्ब बनेगा. We are starting with a journey called as structure of atom. So atom has something known as negative and positive. This gentleman, that is why we gave him too much attention, Michael Faraday. और जब आप इनके बारे में और पढ़ोगे, you will become a greater fan of this person. He never earned money for himself. He said, whatever I'm going to do will be going for humanity. Whereas जब आप टेस्ला और आप थॉमस अल्वा एडिसन के बारे में जानते हैं, he was just a money earner. They were all money earner. This was a scientist who didn't earn money. It could be the richest man. आज के दिन में ये अल्फ्रेड नोबल से भी आगे जा सकते थे. So he proposed an experiment, discharge tube experiment. This was an experiment where we put all our energy in today's session. Cathode, a good scientist should remember, is negative and anode is positive in this diagram. We discussed what is a charge on cathode and anode. After this lecture, you are a richer person. You understand that cathode can be negative or cathode can be positive depending upon circumstances. Situations is going to be varying. One of you asked electrolysis. Anvansh, I think he asked. It's a very good question. Please go through that. This is important, right? Just a read. Then we concentrated upon discharge tube. The air was filled at 1 atmosphere. The high voltage current was passed. Nothing happened. But when we decrease the pressure to about 1 by 100, then the flow of electron, the flow of current started from this side to this side. How do you know that this was moving from this side to this side? We put an opaque object in between the path of the cathode rays and its shadow was obtained on this end. That proved that this is going to be traveling from left to right? And they are not observed themselves, but they are observed when we coat certain substances like zinc sulfide on the anode end. Then the cathode ray, when strike against that coated substance, it will produce scintillation, localized glow, चमक. जैसे आपने एक दीवार देखी, उसके ऊपर किसी ने फायरिंग कर दी है, जहां जहां पे बुलेट टकराया है वहां पे चिप ऑफ हो गया है. These travel straight in the absence of electric or magnetic field. But on the application of electric field, these were found to deflect toward positive plate, indicating that these are negatively charged in there. And that was translated, that was extended, that our earth also have a magnetic field. It is protecting us from harmful charged particles which are thrown toward us by the sun, solar stream. It protects the North Pole and South Pole. I got a chance to visit this place few months earlier. So you can also get a chance if you are going to stay in the field of science. Aurora Borealis, Aurora Australis, right? Then we moved toward cathode rays. More properties were discovered. Cathode rays are going to be mechanical in nature. These are going to move from this side to this side, and they were able to rotate a mechanical paddle. That said that it is going to have certain mass. We introduced an important term known as specific charge. What is specific charge? Charge to mass ratio of an object is called as specific charge. We discussed the specific charge that has to be copied down of proton and electron. You understand that electron has very high value of specific charge because of its mass is less. You see, the proton is having 10 to the power 7, and this is of the order of 10 to the power 11. E by M ratio for cathode rays was always found to be fixed, irrespective of which gas you take in the experiment. This was a summary of the characteristics of cathode ray. The scientific community is never ever satisfied. So they proceeded with a new experiment, everything same, only the cathode had holes in that. And they found a newfound globe, which was later called as anode rays. That led us to think for origin of cathode rays and anode rays. The anode rays, for important thing of anode rays were they travel from anode to cathode, ulta. They also have certain mass. They are positively charged. These points were really important. These have different E by M ratio for different gases. But when we take hydrogen gas, E by M ratio was always found to be positive. The origin of cathode and anode rays was answered in this way, that the gaseous atom, hydrogen, helium, nitrogen, chlorine, is going to be ionized, producing electron, electron, electron. Electron is a fundamental particle. So it come from any atom, it will be same. It will be moving toward anode and will constitute cathode ray. The E by M ratio is always going to be constant. But here, the E by M ratio is going to be variable. For hydrogen, M is 1, for helium, M is 4, nitrogen 14, for chlorine 35.5. Since the mass is going to be different, E by M ratio is going to be different. But for proton, it was found to be maximum because the mass was the least. Then this was explained further, and we defined what is going to be the cathode rays and what is going to be the anode rays, right, sir? We defined all of them. For different atom, this was discussed, right? Ek minute bete. This was the summarization of properties of anode rays, bacho. And we also introduced little bit of time. Chadwick introduced another neutral particles that is going to be known as the neutron. So these are the fundamental particle, the electron, proton, and neutron, and that is going to constitute all the atoms. You were given few questions as a homework that should be noted down, that should be written in your own words. We have discussed that. And we also discussed one questions, that is arrange the electron, proton, alpha particle and the neutron in increasing order of E by M ratio. So welcome into the atomic structure. That was the today's session. Good luck, my dear friends. Anything to ask, please ask. Otherwise, we stop here. Right, bete? Any questions?
सर जो एनोड रेज हैं उस पे मेटालिक मैग्नेटिक फील्ड और इलेक्ट्रिक फील्ड का क्या इफेक्ट होता है?
एनोड के ऊपर चार्ज क्या बेटे?
पॉजिटिव.
Positive. So that is going to be deflect toward which plate? The negative plate. समझ आ गया?
हाँ जी
ऑपोजिट की तरफ आएगा ना बेटे, इट विल मूव टुवर्ड ऑपोजिट। अब आप ही बताइए कैथोड के ऊपर चार्ज क्या है?
नेगेटिव।
तो वो किसकी तरफ जाएगा उत्कर्ष? पॉजिटिव प्लेट की तरफ।
पॉजिटिव सर।
यस, व्हाट मोर सन? Madhu, you can ask. Sakshi, any question? No. So
सर स्पीड किसकी ज्यादा होगी सर, कैनाल रेस की या कैथोड रेस की?
स्पीड किसकी ज्यादा होगी? आप एक बात बताइए, जो ये अगले क्लास में आएगा, जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है, जो प्रोटॉन है, दीज आर पार्टिकल्स बेटे, है ना? और जो अभी आएगा गामा रेज भी आएंगे, है ना? गामा रेज आर इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक वेव, दीज ट्रेवल विद स्पीड ऑफ लाइट 3 × 10⁸ मीटर पर सेकेंड। इन दोनों में से किसका मास कम है? इलेक्ट्रॉन का। So if you supply same amount of energy, which will travel faster बेटे? जितना हल्का होगा। Do you understand? But that depends upon आपने उसको कितनी kinetic energy दी है। बैठे बैठे तो कोई नहीं भागेगा। अगर हम सेम अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी दें इलेक्ट्रॉन को भी और प्रोटॉन को, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन का मास कम होने की वजह से उसका जो स्पीड होगी दैट इज गोइंग टू बी ज्यादा होगी। क्लियर है? जा Yes, any other question? You're welcome. Nothing. So we stop here and see you in the next class. Please make notes. Right? Good luck, bachcho, and see you again. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you sir.
Bye.
Thank you sir.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर।
See you again.
Thank you, sir.
The meeting is going to be ended. Bye.